Alright guys, so today we're going to keep talking about money management strategies. We're going to understand the role of financial institutions. So one of the big things that we've been talking about is pricing and how to price a product. So we're going to watch a quick video, and then we're also going to do the pricing strategy case studies that are in your Google Classroom.
Pricing your products is a big decision that will ultimately have a large effect on your business. A strong pricing strategy is a lot more than just calculating the costs and adding a markup. So today, I'm going to show you 8 effective pricing strategies that will help you make your business more competitive and make more sales. Now, pricing your products always starts off with math. You absolutely need to know how much it costs to make a product or obtain a product and get it to market. This includes your production costs, business costs, marketing costs, and shipping and handling costs. But though it always starts with simple math, a pricing strategy isn't all arithmetic. The reality is that humans are creatures of emotion, and it's incredibly rare that we make all our decisions exclusively through the lens of logic. Here is a simple truth. What a customer is willing to pay for a product isn't really about how much the product costs. What it's actually about is how they perceive the product's value. So let's get into some pricing strategies that just might change the way you think about pricing your products. First, let's talk about cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing is by far the easiest way to think about pricing your products. I'm mentioning it here first simply because it's popular, not because it's the best pricing strategy. Cost plus pricing is exactly what it sounds like, calculating the costs of your products and adding on a markup. For retailers, this markup is often double the wholesale price, but the markup percentage is variable depending on your business. While this strategy does preserve a nice profit margin, there are some issues, because it doesn't take into account market factors like competition or demand for your product. So it can actually lead to a situation where you're charging too much or too little. Next, we have competitive pricing. Competitive pricing is when you check out what your competitors are charging to figure out the going rate. Then rather than focusing on profit margin as a starting point, this pricing strategy is about making the price of your products comparative. And you can do this one of 2 ways. The first is pricing your products slightly lower than competition, thereby attracting value shoppers who are price sensitive. Think Walmart versus Whole Foods. If you have lower costs and can actively promote your special pricing, then this can communicate that your brand is economic and accessible. The second is pricing your products slightly higher, signaling that your product might be better in quality. Think Starbucks versus Dunkin' Donuts. Competitive pricing is often used in highly saturated markets with highly similar products, where pricing can be a differentiator. Next, we have price giving. Price giving is when a company charges the highest possible price for a product right from the outset and then decreases it over time. This is a pricing strategy that Apple has used for years. Price giving works best when there is scarcity of a product, and when new versions of that product will be rolled out in the future, justifying the reduced cost of the previous generation because it's become less relevant. This pricing strategy is best used by businesses that have standout products with features that other companies just can't compete with. So if your business has a prestigious image and creates innovative products, price giving could be the pricing strategy for you. However, it's not going to work if you're in a saturated market and your product doesn't truly stand out. Now let's talk about penetration pricing, which is when you use a low price to enter a market. It's used to draw attention to your business and take away business from competitors who effectively can't match that price. Once you have more wallet share, then you begin raising the price. This pricing strategy is famously used by internet service providers like Comcast, who attract customers with cheap introductory prices. But once the introduction is over, the price of the service goes up. In retail, this means intentionally pricing items low. For example, the grocery store Costco prices organic food items at lower prices than can be found elsewhere. But while these prices are low now, We can expect they will increase over time as they capture more of the organic food market. Discount pricing like coupons, seasonal pricing, and of course sales can all be forms of penetration pricing as well, helping stores get rid of old inventory and attract some short-term traffic to the store. The logic behind penetration pricing is that once the sale is over, some customers will remain loyal to the brand in the long term. One important thing to be aware of is that too many sales can make people weary of paying the regular price, and too low prices can create a perception of bad quality products. Next, we have value-based pricing. Value-based pricing is when you set the price based on how much the customer perceives your product to be worth. This is done by locating data on what customers pay for comparable products, then listing what makes your product different and better. Then you need to place a financial value on those differentiating features. Lastly, you need to communicate that extra value your product provides to customers. Now, value-based pricing is one of the most ideal strategies for entrepreneurs. However, it only works if you have a differentiated product and you are genuinely providing more value than your customers pay in price. Value-based pricing, when done right, is a great way to build customer loyalty, but it demands you stay in lockstep with your customers' desires. Now let's talk about loss leader pricing. Loss leader pricing is a strategy where you price a product for a loss intentionally to attract customers to get them in the door or to your site where they may buy other items. Now, while this might sound a lot like penetration pricing on the surface, it's only tangentially related because the motive is entirely different. The goal with loss leader pricing is to make your profit on other items, not by increasing the price of the item you're taking a hit on. Loss leader pricing is heavily employed in the video game industry, where game consoles are sometimes sold for less than they cost to build because the profit is made on video games and subscription services. A loss leader strategy is best employed by larger companies who have other products they can sell to make up for the loss. Now let's talk about bundle pricing. As the name probably implies, bundle pricing is when you sell 2 or more complementary products together for a single price. Now, this doesn't require much explanation, but it's used by companies to add value for customers at a lower cost, hopefully increase the number of sales, and increase loyalty to the brand. For example, getting a new phone with your data and phone plan is an example of bundled pricing. Now let's talk about anchor pricing. Anchor pricing is the use of comparison, and everyone knows humans love to compare things. With anchor pricing, a retailer lists both the discounted price and the original price right beside each other to establish the savings you'll gain from buying right now. Anchor pricing triggers what is known as the anchoring cognitive bias, where an initial piece of information is used as the anchor by which all following judgments are made. If you've ever seen a price flashed out and a discount next to it and thought, I better take advantage of this while it lasts, well, you have just participated in anchor pricing. Now, if you're looking to get started, Shopify is offering a free 14-day trial. Simply click the link above to take action to level up your e-commerce business. Hopefully this video has given you a broader...
Alright guys, now we're going to get started on those case studies in Google Classroom. It'll be these pricing strategy case studies, okay?
Yes,
You may
ma'am.
work in your small groups, and we'll go over these in just a few. You guys should be discussing in your groups.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Pricing study. How this Apple's brand positioning influence its pricing strategy. So do we just like estimate what they do?
Yeah, what do you think they're doing?
Oh, they promote it, add new designs, maybe add an extra camera.
And they're probably what, one of the most expensive, would you say? Pink very well. Oh no. Isn't that too hard to go? So it's got on here. I don't know if I'm ready. Mm-hmm.
Miss Brooke. Miss Brooke.
I'll be right there. Add another camera, add another feature. What's up?
Can we all get on one and do our own?
Y'all can all just do one.
Everybody-
Guys, you can just submit one paper for the whole group, just make sure everyone's names are on it.
But I think I'm too.
I hope we're doing placements. Cause now, like, we don't have anybody competing on it. So it doesn't really matter if we get up there and buy my.
Ms. Beatty, a little bit, can I go to the vending machine?
Of course.
Appreciate it.
How does Netflix term subscription not include?
Tiers.
Hang on a minute.
Who's that? Okay, give me just a few minutes and wait.
Can I go to the vending machine now?
When we get downstairs.
You said you was done.
No. Wait, you want these?
I'm ready to change my password. Dylan was getting it. Dylan,
They might not have the answer to that one.
Dylan gonna take my phone. Why would I text her?
What they offer, or like what they need in their lives. Like, so something like that. So the thing is, after that is the control.
Alright guys, are we at a good little pause point where we can go over number one, our first case study
Yes, ma'am.
about Apple?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so number one, how does Apple's brand positioning influence its pricing strategy?
Stop collecting's only benefits and unique pictures of its product.
Right, so Apple has a product that's different from everyone else, right?
Yeah, because they have a pattern in which
They like talk,
Patented.
yeah, that one.
Yeah?
I can't talk about it.
They like talk it up so much, or people are like, yeah, that's the best.
So they have a reputation of being the best at what they do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Number two, what role does innovation play in justifying the premium price of phones?
They know that they're like the best, so they can charge what they want.
Right, so
They can charge higher.
you used to not be able to do all the things that you can do on phones nowadays. It used to be you could just make calls, right?
Yes.
Text messaging wasn't even a thing until later. So we've gotten further and further away from it just being a phone, and it's almost like having a little computer with you everywhere you go. So as that has shifted and we've become able to do more things with our phone, the price has increased with that. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so how does Apple's pricing strategy impact its market share and its customer loyalty? Go ahead, Dylan.
They are really expensive, but they are better than most other phones.
So their pricing strategy is to price it top, right?
Yeah, 'cause they have more features than other phones.
So they do have more features. And what about customer loyalty? What do you think that means to Apple?
It means that it could be good and bad.
Okay, so let's think about it. How many Apple products do you have?
A lot.
Like a lot.
What do you have?
AirPods, phones.
AirPods, headphones, they're like speaker thingies.
Speakers, headphones,
They have a lot of
Phone.
variety.
So they'll customers will keep coming back.
MacBook.
people have MacBooks typically. People that like Apple, they're gonna get a MacBook as well.
They even
Yeah,
make
so their
Apple
customers
cars.
are gonna keep buying Apple products because that's just what they like and what they trust.
You know they're making Apple cars, right?
Right. That's gonna be crazy. And the other thing is, we don't have it here because we're in a very small town, but if you were in like a bigger city like Atlanta or somewhere, they have all these Apple stores where you can go and get your Apple products fixed if anything happens to them. A lot of Apple products come with a really great warranty. So that's something that adds value for their customers, okay? Does anybody have anything else to say about this first case study? No? Alright, take a few minutes and look over and adjust your answers for case study number 2, and then we will go over that one. Okay?
Ready?
So I think everything's good on this.